You wake up one morning. Yesterday, your life savings were enough to buy a house. Today, they can barely buy a loaf of bread. You receive your salary, but the moment it reaches your hands, it's already worthless. People no longer carry wallets. They push money in wheelbarrows. This is not a dystopian fantasy. This is hyperinflation. And it has happened far more often than most people realize. We think of money as stable, reliable, permanent. But history shows us just how wrong that belief is. Because the worst hyperinflations didn't just wipe out bank accounts. They collapsed governments, tore families apart, buried empires. Like financial wildfires sweeping through societies, they burned everything to the ground. And they revealed a brutal truth. Our systems are far more fragile than we want to believe. Now you're about to witness how 5 countries, 5 real economies, watched their currencies turn to ash. And as you listen, remember this. Inflation rarely arrives loudly. It creeps in. It whispers. And by the time most people notice, it's already too late to escape. Germany, 1923. When World War I ended, Germany was on its knees. The Treaty of Versailles imposed 132 billion gold marks in reparations, a sum so enormous it would take generations to repay. The government's solution was simple: print money. At first, it seemed to work. Then prices doubled, then tripled, and then they exploded. November 1923. 1 loaf of bread, 200 billion marks. People burned banknotes to stay warm. Children played with stacks of cash. The middle class watched a lifetime of savings vanish in a matter of weeks. But the real collapse wasn't in wallets. It was in minds. Because once a society loses faith in its currency, everything breaks. Trade, contracts, salaries, savings. And when trust disappears, order follows. This economic chaos opened the door to social collapse. Desperation, anger, hunger, and from that chaos, Adolf Hitler rose. Zimbabwe, 2000s. Now we move to Africa. Zimbabwe. President Robert Mugabe launched massive land seizures that destroyed agricultural production. Sanctions followed. Isolation followed. Economic collapse followed. The response? Print money. And the spiral began. Inflation, 79,600,000,000%. Prices doubled every 24 hours. $10 million bills, 100 billion, 100 trillion. Eventually, they surrendered. They abandoned their currency and adopted the US dollar and South African rand. But the damage was already done. Pensions were erased. Industries collapsed. Millions fled the country. What remained? Land, skills, physical assets, not paper, real value. Hungary, 1946. The worst hyperinflation in recorded history. Post-World War II. Hungary lay in ruins. The government printed the pengo at unimaginable speed. Prices doubled every 15 hours. Inflation, 401 trillion, 900 billion trillion percent numbers, lost all meaning. First came million-denomination notes, then billions, and finally, the currency itself was abandoned. The middle class vanished. Savings were annihilated. Government legitimacy collapsed. The past was erased. Venezuela, 2010s. An oil-rich nation. Politically broken. Corruption. Nationalizations. Price controls. Unlimited money printing. Inflation, 1,000,000%. If you didn't spend your salary the same day, it lost half its value by tomorrow. Store shelves stood empty. Barter returned. Doctors, engineers, teachers fled the country. The government cut 6 zeros overnight. But what they couldn't erase was the devastation itself. Yugoslavia, 1993 war, sanctions, chaos, monthly inflation, 313 million% prices doubled every 1.4 days. Local currency was used to light cigarettes. People survived using German marks and US dollars. And once again, the pattern repeated. Crisis, money printing, loss of trust, collapse. What about today? You might say, that was the past. But global debt is now at record highs. US national debt, $34 trillion. Central banks printed trillions. At first it worked. Then came 2021. Then 2022. Inflation returned. Rents exploded. Food prices soared. Wages lagged behind. We're not in hyperinflation yet. But the warning signs are here. And the most dangerous belief of all is this: central banks will always save us. History proves otherwise. So what can you do? You don't control the system, but you do control your exposure to it. Real wealth is not paper. It is purchasing power, skills, production, resilience. Because inflation is a hidden tax, a silent thief, and it crushes the unprepared. That's why financial education isn't just about making money. It's about protecting it, understanding the system, limiting debt, simplifying life, building skills that produce real value. These 5 hyperinflations were not accidents. They were the result of war, bad policy, denial, and the seductive lie that money can be created without consequence. Now you know the pattern. And the next time someone says, "This could never happen here," you'll know exactly how to answer.